Liverpool have been far from perfect so far this season, but will hope that two key men can return to form quickly. Jurgen Klopp will know one excuse is behind them. With the January transfer window fast approaching, many Liverpool supporters' thoughts are already focused on the possibility of Jurgen Klopp making additions to his squad. That position is not without justification, of course, the Reds' mixed start to the season having provided plenty of evidence that tweaks are entirely necessary. But while signings should be at the forefront of the club's thinking as they look to correct the mistakes of the early stages of the campaign, it is vital that alternative routes to short-term improvement are also being considered. And key among them is bringing those players already contracted to the club back to something approaching their best in the weeks ahead. Admittedly, the list of stars who fell short of their own high standards prior to the World Cup is long, but there are perhaps only two whose impending involvement in that tournament was regularly cited as the entire reason. They are Virgil van Dijk and Fabinho, signed for a combined £114 million, $138m, €130m, for whom a return to form following a trip to Qatar would be just as significant as any signing Klopp could make in January. Let's start with Van Dijk, who went to great lengths during his frequent mixed-zone encounters with journalists to insist that the World Cup was not playing on his mind as he put in a number of uncharacteristically poor performances prior to the international break. The Dutchman had already sacrificed his first major tournament appearance in missing the rescheduled Euro 2020 to fully complete his recovery from a serious knee injury. And so, whether he felt it on a conscious level or not, it is not hard to imagine that he feared another fitness issue dashing his dream of captaining his country in Qatar, or that any such worries might manifest themselves in slightly timorous performances. The same goes for Fabinho, even though it was long known that he would not be a prominent part of Brazil's campaign. Chit's men were the bookmakers' pre-tournament favourites for victory, meaning even those destined not to play every game will have been desperate to avoid an injury that might cause them to miss out on a potential winner's medal. That is particularly true of Fabinho, who has been no stranger to a brief layoff through a muscle strain in recent seasons at Anfield. Of course, even if it is indeed the case that both players were holding something back in order to preserve their World Cup dream, and neither will likely ever admit it, it would be harsh of Liverpool supporters to begrudge them that for too long. In fact, they should be excited by the possibility that Fabinho and Van Dijk's mixed showings prior to heading out to the Middle East were a simple case of playing slightly within themselves, as that would only increase the likelihood of an immediate return to form. If this is how things play out upon the pair's return, then they have every chance of outstripping even the biggest January signing in terms of impact on the remainder of the season.